Hey everyone, have you seen my short where I said who makes the decisions for you or your decisions? I mentioned that I wanted to expand on it, and so I'm going to do that in this video, in a quick and straightforward video, possibly some tough love, but tune in because it's gold for anyone and everyone. Who makes decisions for you? For example, eating junk food versus healthier choices, coming home to cook versus always eating out, stress eating, not catching yourself versus going for a walk, exercise versus playing video games, sleeping well versus just laying on the sofa binging on Netflix. Do you know when you're so tired and you just can't get up from the sofa? I'm sure we're all guilty and been there. Being kind and open-hearted to people versus being toxic and closed off. We all make our own decisions. We're all responsible for our own lives, and our health is largely a result of our choices. This is something that a lot of us might not want to hear because it is tough when you feel you're not where you want to be. And this is why that's exactly why you don't want to hear it, because you want to be somewhere and you're not actually there. So these are the things that where I tie the knots for clients and I make them aware so that we achieve their goals. Firstly, I become aware of what they're unaware of. So if you don't take full responsibility for your own health and the choices in your daily life, you will continue to find excuses, something or someone to blame for your own decisions and actions. I mentioned in another short about the amount of external noise and advice that surround us that is not really legitimate. Like just yesterday, I opened Instagram and I found, a page that I'm following about gymming was promoting, and I see it often, and they've got millions of followers. They're promoting someone who was doing Romanian deadlifts, targeting the hamstring, and then in apparently another form, targeting the glutes. Both was the same, and 100% the form for the glutes was wrong. And I just think back to myself, like, if I wasn't on my journey, if this was going back to my own journey, I would take that and follow that. And I'd be like, okay, so firstly, as common sense, I'd be like, these two look the same. So do they mean that both target the glutes and hamstrings? Or let me analyze it again. Does she have her back straighter here and the knees more bent here? And I'd probably go and do that, thinking I'm targeting the hamstring and glutes in the best way that I can. Romanian deadlifts targets both. But there's slight tweaks in forms that you learn that target one of the muscles more than the other. So in one form, the glutes will be targeted more than the hamstrings. You can't totally exclude the hamstrings from this exercise. By the tweaks, you can either get the prime focus to be the hamstring or the prime focus to be the glutes. The secondary will be the other one. So that was just an example of the amount of noise and external pressure, influences and temptations, and they're all not right. And this is why I started my YouTube channel, because there's so much of it and I was all lost in this noise myself. And I would follow stuff as well, and I would think that it was my body that wasn't changing. I thought it was because I was fat before that my body is not changing. I thought that I was helpless when I was fat because I was told, oh, your metabolism is slow. All these things are incorrect, and that's why I actually come on here and I coach and I provide this information, and trust me, it's very credible. I'm very integrous in my values. It's one of my values. So if I don't know something, I'm going to say I'm going to check on it and I'm going to come back to you and I'll dive into it and I'll come back and present it. But this is why this platform is here. And if you subscribe, I'm hoping we can grow our community and do lives where we can interact, whether it's heartfelt lives of what we went through this week, whatever it was, because I focus on the mind, body, and there's the soul. And I also have a different channel for more spiritual energy healing, which both channels tie into. But I'll go into that later, because otherwise I digress, and that's why I keep my notes. So the external pressure and temptations can really have you lost, just like I went on different things, but it was important to tie it in to give you that example. And we all have people in our lives who make their own decisions that are not in line with our needs. There is definitely others to blame. I'm not saying that no one is ever to blame, but at the end of the day, nobody's putting a gun to your head and forcing you to make consistent, bad, poor decisions, especially around your health. Your health is your responsibility. It's your decision to make that put a boundary on people. Now, there is an element here about the external influences, the environment we live in, but also the country we live in, the people around us, that can really heavily impact decisions we make and the way we see things in our lives. And I can go into that in a much deeper conversation with you should you wish to. I just need you to comment and I can go into that, because it really does affect us, not only decisions, it affects us forward moving, it affects our vision for life, it affects even our physical body, stress and mental health as well. And I can give you plenty of examples, even from a country I've lived in to a country I've lived in, how it impacted my body to the point where even functions within the body that were natural were different from one country to another. It's very interesting how the body can be. I am a very sensitive person, I pick up on energies, but that's the point of environment. But at the end of the day, we have choices, especially day-to-day choices and habits about our health, and it's our responsibility. If you don't have your health, trust me, it's awful. And if you've been there, I'm sure you've been there from the time of maybe just being sick. If you are someone who's always on the go, how do you feel? It's not good, is it? So every decision affects our health, is actually our decision. When we eat well, it's a choice we've made. When we eat junk, it's a choice we've made as well. Regardless of who pressurized us, we can always say no. There is a pressure, we can always say no. I'm not saying it's the easiest thing in that particular moment, because you sometimes look back and you're like, why didn't I just say no? Why did I feel, especially if your boundaries and codependent from things in life, it's very difficult to pick up on that. But it is simple. And poor lifestyle choices, when done repeatedly, like you've done for many years, are now ingrained into habits. And that's why I was saying about other influences that around us are very key. Healthy lifestyle choices, when practiced and done repeatedly, will eventually become the new habits and replace the bad habits, as long as you start practicing the bad ones. It takes time. Now, in terms of formation of habits, again, going on a tangent, we're giving you gold tips in the between, and that's why I say my videos are not only about the subject matter, there'll be gold nuggets to take from here and there. Some say habits take 21 days, 30 days, 60 days. It depends on the habit. It depends on how much it's been part of your life, not only ingrained into you, part of your life. And that could be, it's a habit from your parents, that's down to you, and you've had it from childhood all the way and you want to break it. It could be something that you're emotionally bonded to, and so you might find yourself swinging in and out. But if you find that, for example, you go from emotionally eating or picking up sugary or carb foods to actually becoming aware. Instead of like you go and you normally have, let's say, 3 pieces of chocolate, you eat one and you're like, okay, what am I doing now? And you stop and you try to do something else. Maybe it doesn't work, but look, you've started to make that difference. And sometimes you'll be fine and sometimes you might revert, and that's totally fine. But you are making the change. It's starting. And by the way, the greatest people, the greatest models, the greatest role models, fittest people all slip. Making right choices also give you confidence. Okay, you'll feel liberated. You'll call the shots. You'll decide what enters your mouth. You decide how you want to move your body, how you want to feel. The potential for how healthy you can be is really unlimited. I can say I lift heavier weights, or I don't, when I say lift, I know if you're a newbie, you might think I'm just lifting, but I mean in general, whether it's my legs, whether it's my biceps, triceps, whether it's more, whatever muscle group it is, I can do heavier than when I was in my 20s. And that's because I was still on my own journey to becoming who I am today. Maybe if I had the right people and coaches around me, I would have eliminated a lot of years. Unfortunately, I didn't, and that's why I'm very passionate about making sure you get the right message. And when I'm coaching with my clients, that I cut down that journey of theirs and they just get the gold from the start. They don't have to try. They might have been through a couple of PTs that have not really been the right fit for them for whatever reason, but that's ultimately why you succeed. And it is unlimited on how healthy you can be. Even if you have a health condition, how healthy you can be is where you can be your healthiest. It doesn't mean it's someone else's healthiest, but you can be unlimited in your health and improving your health all the time. But so is the extent of how sick you can be. It is also unlimited if you continue to make the bad choices. So even if you have a health concern and you make bad health choices, you are increasing your bad health. Okay. Stop blaming others outside of your own control. Start making those decisions that you can fully control what you like to eat, what you want to do in terms of your physical health and getting started or continuing or going for a more advanced goal, higher goal, sustaining, maintaining, and stop blaming the things that are outside of your control. You can fully make a decision on what you eat next, what you drink next. Are you going out for a second day of alcohol binging, etc., etc.? Tough love, I can keep going on this until you decide to make those better choices, or you decide to maybe say, I'm not taking this tough love right now. I can't accept it. This video irritated me, but I'm telling you from now, it irritated you because you want to be somewhere else than where you are. Think about that for a moment. If there's somewhere else you want to be, but you don't find that you can do it on your own journey, on your own path, with your own self, with your own knowledge, no one holding you accountable, you want to work with me, you can email me, all the details in the description box. But either way, each choice we make is another choice within our control. And yes, we will slip, but if we make one choice a day better than the choice the day before, over a week, let's say we had 2 days we slept. Normally we do 7 days of the bad choices. We had 2 or 3 days we slept during that week. That means 4 days out of the 7, 3 days we slipped a little, you have made a change, and that's perfect. That's all that's needed. You've made some better choices towards honoring yourself, better health, better choices, better emotional, mental, physical health. I hope this helped. If you liked it, give it a like. Comment, let me know how it helped. And also, I'd love to hear about you and what your goals are, what your journey's been maybe. And if you want to work with me, like I said, the details are in the description box. Subscribe so you get notified. Apparently not everyone gets notified of stuff. It's the way YouTube is going. So if you do subscribe and you like the video, it helps it get out into the algorithm, especially seeing as I'm very new on the platform. There's many people that have millions or 100,000 followers. My minute message might be more gold, but it will need pushing out. So I appreciate your support if it resonated though. And I'll see you on the next video. I hope you have an amazing day, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening. Take care.